What's good, YouTube? Perhaps the most asked for list from YCS Seattle is the 60 card Burning Abyss deck. And here it is, Destin Kaspi's own top 32. Ended up losing to Zoo in the top 32. One of the only, I believe, 2 decks not playing the Zoodiac engine. Let's go ahead and get into it. 1 Black Luster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, triple Vanity's Fiend. I really like this card. Locks out opponents, of course, very similar to the barrier statues, except he does have extra protection with a few of the traps. And I don't know, guys, like, if Zoodiac doesn't get to their board wipe, they can't play, but there is so much to do with board wipes in this format. But it really worked out for him, and I really do think Vanity's Fiend, even with, you know, the limited back row protection of these 4, really probably put in a lot of work for him. 1 Fairy Tale Snow, triple Barbar, so maxing out here to get to the 60 cards. 1 Seer, triple Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Remember, this is a huge enabler for the deck overall. Triple Calcab, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. Triple Libic. Triple Speedroid Terratop. And that 1 Takum Borg down below. Oops. Triple Ulich. We've got double Dragig. Triple Farfo. Our 1 Graph. Our 1 Tour Guide. Our triple Skarm. Never forget. Triple Rubik. And double Ghost Ogre, double Maxi. It seems like even BA is not exempt from playing these 4 hand traps together. We've got triple Allure of Darkness. It really helps turn on the turbo of the deck. Getting it, draw engines, being able to get rid of your more dead piece to get more pieces to get more live pieces. We've only got 1 copy of that Grass Looks Greener, a very interesting choice. And he says, yes, it's a great at 1. Never bricked at 1, never needed it, and the few times I saw it, it was pretty good. At 2 or 3, it was rare, but they would clog, or I would end up milling too many resources going first like all my Farfas. Snow was the best card of the event by far, though. So basically, he's saying that the resource, like, even at 2, like, for an event like this where you know you're playing all these rounds and you're trying to win, it's just not consistent to play more because it actually ends up hurting your resources when you play it over and over and over. And when you play multiple, even though you're playing 60 cards, you end up with hands of 2 that just don't help. Also, you have to consider this. There's so many 60 card decks that when he runs into them, it would be more dead cards in his deck to face those kinds of decks head on with those in his deck. So I can see why. And Infernoid's already a very hard matchup for BA. And Infernoid, of course, Infernoid Zoo was a very, very popular pick for this event. We've got 1 Raigeki, 2 Pot of Desires, 2 Dark Holes, getting 3 total board wipes in order for... remember, there's a lot of potential to be able to deal huge damage with BA. You're able to flood the board with Triple Dante a lot. We've got the 1 Foolish, double Dynamiscus. We've been seeing this more and more in the few BA decks that have been topping. And we see it here again. Of course, it's the quote-unquote Karma Cut, but it hits any card. So it's able to banish any card from the field. And you also get a Chum Block in very rare scenarios. So it's really interesting that he played that. And there's some other things that I really like that he played in the extra deck. We have 1 Torrential. Remember, this is actually amazing against Paleos because even if they chain the Paleo Trap, it'll get wiped off the board and lose the resource. And of course, with Burning Abyss, one of the best field presence to resummon after activating a Torrential. And not many ways besides the hard spell and trap removal for Zoo to deal with that. Double Breakthrough Skill, probably put in a lot of works against Tridents all weekend. We've got Double Dimensional Barrier, same concept, probably put in work against every single deck. And Skill Drain, the final card here. Starting with VLS, ending with Skill Drain. 2 cards that we see in and out of Burning Abyss decks. Oh man, this had to have done very well for him. We've got 1 copy of Dante Pilgrim. Remember, this is summonable when Beatrice gets hit. We've got the Virgil as well. And he was actually playing 3 of the tuner. We've got 1 Beatrice, the star of the show, so to speak. We've got a Downard, the side chick over here, and a new side chick with Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief. So he's playing Alucard, and the reason for this, in case you didn't know, is the full force virus down here. You can actually rank it up over Alucard for free after getting your pop, and have a full Force Virus target in your extra deck, which also works with you know, rank 1s, rank 2s, and rank 3s, thanks to the Ghost Trick's versatility. And of course, she herself is a generic 4. We've got number 47, Nightmare Shark. We've got the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. Ghost Trick Alucard himself, as mentioned. Leviair Dragon. Double Equipped Engineer. Triple Dante, and 1 F-Zero for the big problems. Cosmo actually being the dark horse of the format. Well, it turns out BA came back. You live long enough as the villain to see yourself become the hero, because BA definitely has been ostracized for being one of the longest living decks, but now anything that's not Zoo is the hero, and this was kind of the hero of Seattle, so to speak. We've got 1 Godarla. I actually have to assume that's for the Wind Barrier statue decks, because there's not many other reasons for that. You know, they can go into Terror Top and go into Leviair Dragon for beats, but this actually gives them, you know, the ability to tribute that Wind Barrier statue. We've got a Radiant, and we've got the Kaiju Slumber to go with it over here. So only playing 2, but, you know, if he mills it, he's able to just search out a Kaiju. We've got double Majesty's Fiend. That's a very interesting choice. We've got 1 Shadow Dragon as well to send with that Beatrice. Not uncommon for BA. We've got triple Magical Spring. Very, very good against any Pendulum deck, especially Metal Foes, not letting them pop each other anymore and forcing them to pop other cards that would come out. And, of course, being able to get that free draw resource. Double Twin Twisters. Actually pretty surprised. They're not in the main. He's just able to go off that hard. I guess there's not a lot of threatening back row from Zoo, and Barrier would flip anyways. So I can see why this ended up in the side deck. And again, that full Force Virus, your target's right here, a free rank up if you're wondering where it is. And then 2 Fiend Griefing. Remember, this can turn on basically any piece of the deck you want. You can end up with your burn damage, your revival, your special summon out. It's just very good for the deck. So let's go ahead and get into his matchups. He lost in the top 32. He played against 7 Zoodiacs, 2 Infernoids, 1 of which had Zoo, and a Barrier statue in Swiss. So he actually came up against the Barrier statue, the Barrier statue matchup that he was prepared for with Godarla. That is so funny. And then he faced Zoo in top 32 and lost. He wants to shout out Logan Johnson for helping him make the list way better than it was before. And he wouldn't make any changes except maybe cutting BLS. And like I said, when I asked him about Grass, he said that, and very well reasoned out, that he wouldn't actually want more of them. A, because of the 60 card decks, and B, because he would end up milling too many of his resources like Farfas, and for event consistency, probably the best look at the deck. So let me see. The Paleozoic special summons itself it actually came up in a match for enough damage to push for game, funny enough. That's really, really funny. And he said it's been a long day with no sleep. So there you have it. Destin Kaspi just showing out with his deck. 60 cards, you know, you would expect this to be an Infernoid list, right? But it's actually just Burning Abyss. Straight up with 1 tech, all the techs we've actually seen in shorter list. Well, Snow has been getting teched. Of course, Vanity's Fiend is a mainstay. The Dynamiscus have been getting teched. It's basically just throwing you in the kitchen sink and having everything at your disposal rather than having to cut anything. And I really like it, and I like the options. I wonder how many times he got to resolve Full Force Virus. And definitely just a great look at this list. This is really good against Zoo, and he happened to play 7 of them. So thanks for watching, guys. Give this a thumbs up. I know this was a huge list that everybody asked for, and I'm ecstatic to, you know, be able to show it off to you guys. And what do you think about Burning Abyss in 2K17? Is it now the hero that we deserve, but not the one we need? Or is it the hero we need and not the one we deserve after, you know, it's been alive since all the way back to, like, the winter, I believe, of 2014? Oh man, so many years with this deck. But hey, Mermel's still running around with plenty of people to love it, so why can't BA come back with that kind of feeling of love rather than resentment? Definitely a great look at Destin Kaspi. Oh, he also has a final note. He's talking to me right now. Oh, one important thing. The Ghost Trick Angel was... Oh, so yeah, generic full force. So we already touched on that. But yeah, thank you very much, Destin. I got these. I got this. I know what this is for. But... Yeah, it's definitely really cool that he did have that. I'll actually ask him right now, how many times did you full force virus? And just to keep this conversation going a little longer while we wait for an answer, he's already seen it. It's just really cool to see that it was that consistent through 10 rounds. And that it had that many Zoo matchups and was able to take them on. Not a lot of people thought that it would be taking on Zoo. And a lot of people haven't even been mentioning this deck coming into the format, but it's really strong. I only resolved it once, but it was going second against Zoo for 8 cards. Wow, so only came up once the entire tournament after all that hype. Deflated a little, but it's still really, really good. Rest of the time, it got Twin Twistered. Makes sense. Setting back row, it happens. That's why there's so few back row, even in the main comparative to the rest of the deck. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, Destin Kaspi, great job, man. This is an amazing list, in my opinion. BLS just started out, the only card that he might possibly cut. Wonder what he would put in for it. Snow being the MVP, he said maybe another one of those. Definitely a cool look at the deck, guys. Thanks for watching.